Welcome to Wisdom Exchange TV, an Ignite Excellence Foundation initiative in support of ABW, Africa Business Women Connected Summit, taking place in Ethiopia in 2013. The Wisdom Exchange is a resource to aid African women to learn, lead, and succeed in life, business, and community. It is a forum where women of all disciplines will be inspired from the achievements of African women in politics, business, philanthropy, and education. These are the women that are change agents of companies, communities, country, and continent. They will inspire us to stretch a vision of what we can do and what we can be. New interviews and expert perspective blogs will be updated regularly with the insights of women leaders of today for tomorrow. Hello, my name is Suzanne F. Stevens. I am the host and co-producer of Wisdom Exchange TV, as well as the president and founder of the Ignite Excellence Group of Initiatives. One of our initiatives is Wisdom Exchange TV. Another one is the Ignite Excellence Foundation, which our mandate is leadership, advocacy, and education, with the mandate to inspire, develop, and invest in women in emerging countries. As an inspirational speaker, a living coach, and a business leadership trainer, I've had the opportunity to work with the woman we're about to interview today. We're with the leading lady, Rusia Bariho. Rusia is a true inspiration for many reasons, part of not only what she's accomplished, but the age in which she accomplished it. She is the founder of Oribags Innovations Limited, is a social and environmental enterprise that manufactures eco-paper bags from agricultural fibers and waste. Rusia is the executive director and co-founder of United Foundation of Entrepreneurial Skills for Development in Uganda, a non-for-profit community-based organization that promotes the spirit of entrepreneurship among youth and women. She represents young female entrepreneurs at the Uganda Women Entrepreneurs Association. Rusia is a renowned youth and women entrepreneurial advocate, environmentalist, among many other things. She scooped the Ugandan Young Entrepreneur Achievements Award in 2010. And in October 2011, she will receive a World of Difference Award from the International Alliance of Women, taking place in Washington, D.C. Let's welcome Rusia. It's a pleasure to finally interview you with all our correspondence. So thank you for the warm hospitality.
Thank you.
And my new bracelet.
Thank you too. You're welcome to Uganda.
Now, what was the catalyst for starting Oribags in the first place?
Being young, I wanted to do something that was unique, that could be sustainable for years. I thought starting a company, I would be able to employ myself and also look after my siblings, because my father and my mom have been peasants for years, and I wanted to transform the family and also create an address for my own. I thought starting a company on my own and managing it and doing something unique and environmentally friendly with the market that we have in the country, I thought it would be a good deal. And I've lived to see it from the start up to now. We are now in our 5th year. So it is so wonderful to start a business when you're young, when you still have the energy, the motivation, and when you still live to see what your parents have been able to do for you in a rural setting. And for sure, I'm grateful.
Being the firstborn, and there's a responsibility with that.
Yes.
And what I find interesting too is that your brothers, as I've had the pleasure of meeting two of them
Yes.
today, you said that you wanted to help your family.
Yes.
And it seems that everyone's invested in your initiative.
I have my specific mom and my specific dad.
Mm-hmm.
So they never went too far in terms of education. So, like for last year in Uganda, if you're not land a lot and you don't have a lot of land in the village, indicating that you're not recognized. We've done all this not because of our parents. It is because of what we've been able to invest in and how we've worked tirelessly through a network. Because I believe if we are in a network, there is nothing that can be had. I may not be successful here, but with my connections and the network that I've been able to create because of Oribags, I've been able also with my brothers to be able to bring up this achievement of Bario agribusiness enterprise as a farm for sustainable agriculture, and also an initiative to also economically empower other women and youth. Not that I have to wait when I'm 40 years to start. By then I will have grown and I will not be able to see what I will have toiled for. So it is always better to start it very young, irrespective of your family background. I believe I've benefited a lot because I've done it when I'm young and I've been able to register something.
You're 26 now, so you started this business when you were 21?
Yes, I was in my senior 6 vacation, but also before that I had tried so many businesses here and there in farms, produce, also dealing in textile selling. I would also retail and also sometimes wholesale, but until I decided to concentrate on one line of business, to be able to study my business, to see what could be able to sustain me over the years. So for starting the business when I was at 21 years, and also with the support of my mentors, especially my grandfather who took me over, Honorable Shema Bagaine. He's also my grandfather from my dad's side, so he was also able to look after me, especially in terms of funding my education, because my mom and my dad couldn't do it in a better school where I wanted to be able to exploit my potential. So he kept on guiding me, and I was very focused as a lady from the village to be able to break it internationally, though I have not made it internationally, but I know I'm on my way, I'm getting there because I know where I'm going.
What gave you so much confidence at such a young age to start this business?
Basing on my experience in my village, a woman was supposed to be in the kitchen. A woman was to look after the babies, but she never had a strong voice. She never had the respect in the community. So growing and seeing my mom till the land and being able to look after us motivated me, and also what I grew up seeing and also being challenged, because when you're a rural lady and you join a modern school, the challenges that I encountered forced me to be shrewd, to be able to tell people that I also exist. So the history of my mom and also the community setting, they shaped me to be what I am. And I believe a woman, when you're sharp and you have the information, you can also make it best than a man. So the shrewdness, the upbringing, and also my confidence and the hard work.
So what were some of the challenges you encountered when you started your business, and how did you overcome them?
Yes, I faced so many challenges, especially not having the financial breakthroughs, because I never had collateral security, because I had not owned a business with my family before, and also getting to know government officials, because however much you excel privately, we need the government. So sometimes the bureaucrats, you're not able to penetrate because you're not well connected, because sometimes the aspirations of the government are totally different from our private motives. So you find, me, I want something very quickly, but the government will take long. And then another challenge, not having so many successful women in business to learn from. The few who could be available would not be accessible. So now I have the business deal, but the people to connect me. Sometimes I find it to work well with a woman, but she's not readily seen, and few women in science and technology. So because I run a business that needs more research and development for me to be competent in the line of business that I'm operating in. So you find most of the activities that I do implement in the company must be backed with intellectual capacity. But when you enter such offices, you hardly come across women. So indicating that you must be suffocated by a man. So that's why I had to now to sit back and lay a strategy of how to get into the system. So I would go back to my family. I harass my grandfather that you've been able to look after me, but how can you connect me to be able to run my business involving with men? So he connected me that I have a friend here. Like sometimes when you don't have a contact person in a ministry, you cannot penetrate, indicating if I'm looking for support from maybe a research institution and I don't have someone there, I will not penetrate. I will die with an idea because I'm a woman, my husband is not maybe into research, and you end up leaving the business, even not be able to celebrate the first birthday. So because I knew what I wanted and I had to sit down and make a strategy is what has motivated me. But there are so many women, because they don't have strong networks to be able to break through. But we need strong networks if we are to succeed. And being the largest percentage of women who are women in business, and they're the women in agriculture, we need information on value addition. So how do you add value on a product when you're not informed, when you don't have a network in a leading research institution, if you're not known to the university, indicating that you have to keep on doing something the same for 10 years. So those challenges, I faced them, but now I need also other women to know that if you have an idea, it is good to have an idea. Because if you have it, you can now put it on paper. So when you put it on paper and you have those networks, your idea must be realized into a product. As African women, as women across the globe, though we want to be the agents of transformation, we need the networks. And Susan, I'm very grateful because our women across there will not face what I saw. At least now, the women know that for me to succeed, I need this person in the private sector, in the agency, in the government. So when you amalgamate those networks, your product, your way must be created.
You know, it sounds like what you're talking about, what you really need to do is you need to know what you want, because you need to know what to ask for.
Of course.
And if you don't know what you want and you don't know what to ask for and you don't know a lot of people to ask, then your idea may never actually grow. The thing I want to emphasize there is actually asking for help. Because even going back to your grandfather is really asking people for help. Some people will sometimes tell us they're going to help and don't help, but it's asking many people. Now, you mentioned about the government. That was one of the challenges of dealing with bureaucracy. And that they wanted to work faster, slower than you did. So how did you deal with that?
I was very shrewd because you need to after you've found a contact in the government, depending on the activity that you're going to accomplish, you have to make sure that you're responsive to information. Sometimes information is there, but women, we don't know it. You find it is an opportunity for women, but there is no woman who is informed. So how I went about it, I'm very good at networking. If someone is very hard, that is a good person to work with, because being shrewd and I know how to negotiate. So when I landed on someone, I had now to get to know their interests. For you to first get a contact, you first learn the specifications that key government is trying to implement in the country. So knowing their specifications, now I had now also to sit back and draw what they wanted. So in that, I incorporate them in my project, so that as I'm going to present my idea, I know this institution wants to implement this, and this is what I want also to implement. So by doing that, if even when you're told to go, you go and draft something in writing specifying what you want us to do for you, by telling me that, already I have to present, because I have made a lot of research. So after I had now started with them, you have to tell someone that you're serious and you know what you want. When they find that you're very hardworking and you're in line with what they want to implement, it will not take you time. But the bad thing may be within African culture. Sometimes you get the information, you're given an assignment, you take 2 weeks. Someone will come. As you're hunting for that information, someone is also hungry for it. So the more you enter into those systems, the more active you must act. And you must tell someone that you're unique from what he's looking for. You show someone that you have the strategy of him meeting what he has been looking for. So when you show someone that you're going also to help him achieve this, someone will, of course, will take you up. No one wants to work with a lazy person. Like now with my businesses, I've created Publist for where I'm being incubated, because they've done excellent work to incubate me, to support me. So I have to help them to achieve their objectives of being the leading research institution in the country.
What continues to motivate you?
I've personally developed and employing and having seen my family transform over the few years when I set my vision.
I've heard this, that sometimes women who aspire like you,
Yes.
you've had a business, you've been successful, and it's growing.
Yes.
It's going international, we know that.
Yes.
How did you find a man that could actually deal with someone who's so focused and determined as you?
Of course, when we conduct our businesses, sometimes we do inspire others. Maybe you find I could have inspired my husband. Good enough, I even have not interviewed him on that issue. I could have inspired him. And to be sincere, if you're a moral lady, you have dignity. You're shrewd on what you want. And you also respect the concept of a family. There is no man who will fail to identify with. So my challenge, I had to set a challenge, because being from a poor family, maybe if I had stayed the way I was, I wouldn't have attracted the man that I married. So the fact that I was successful in business and someone maybe took his time to study me. So I think my relevance to him, because also a man, by the time he marries you, he has his manifesto. So I was hardworking and I knew my values, and for us to succeed in business, we also need husbands. We need love, so that at the end of the day, someone can call you that, darling, thank you for accomplishing this. For sure, if you know the values of a man and you're hardworking, you're also empowering other women, for sure, no man can fail to give you love.
I've often heard that women that do really well often have a challenge meeting a man that could stand up to the challenge.
Yes.
But your husband's very successful in his own right,
Yes.
so we need to appreciate that. The fact that you started at such a young age. What kind of advice would you give to young people in school?
Enhance individual talents, because sometimes you may be having a PhD, but when you're poor on the street, you're begging for survival, it is useless, and you're a liability to the economy. So the advice I would also give to those who are still in lower education is to identify what you want and make sure you have the passion for it, and make sure that you excel on it, because Like surprisingly, in my enterprise, most of the people I employ, they are not graduates, but they output, because people who are not skilled in terms of education, they tend to output more than the graduates. So if you're in your lower education, let the education shape you to do something, to output a service or a product, because education without output is useless. So use the education to shape you to be able to tap opportunities from existing resources according to the country where you're born. That's when you will be able to be an asset and relevant to the economy.
You went to be an entrepreneur right out of school. Would that be your recommendation?
If you want to become an entrepreneur after you've finished education, you will not be able to start it very early. So it is always advisable that sit down, take time to invest in critical thinking and identify what you can do according to the existing opportunities that you have in your community, in the environment where you live. And by identifying what you can do when you're still young, will also enable you to concentrate on that line of business, and your business can be for next generations. If you start it very early, you look after it, indicating the sustainability of the business is a must.
How do you manage people that are your elders?
It is not a challenge, because when they set in the company or maybe in the organization and they find that already you have a system, they follow the system, because if they know that you're an achiever and they embrace your vision, it is not very hard, because they are good to work with, because they understand. They will embrace what you do according to how they believe that you are an achiever. And they want also to make a difference. Take an example, some of these staff that I also employ, some you find I've trained them in skills development, maybe in basketry, in paper bags, in some other skills for community change. So sometimes you find someone is very active, but you see someone has not gone to school, but he or she has a passion to output. So why can't I go ahead and employ him or her? So when they already, now when they're entering the company, they know that really this woman, this young lady loves what she's doing. So as I go there, I know I'm going to help her to meet her targets as we strive to now realize our vision. So when they find that you have a system, they know that you are an achiever, and they want also economically develop themselves. So they have to suit in what I do, and I like it, and they are good to work with.
It's interesting. It's less about what you want them to do, it's more about what they want to do, which makes you work as well as a leader.
Yes.
What type of person do you hire?
Depending on the specific activity that we want to accomplish at a time. But for paper making, mainly I look, because paper making is new in the country, so mostly some whom we employ, they've finished tertiary education, so we have to first train them. Then if we also, through our networks, we also benefit from advanced countries which train in paper technology. So I have now to train them together with the institute, where I'm being incubated. They also offer me support to also train the workers in various courses, especially in production and product development, and how we also constantly get the information and we feed it to them, because I'm an information scientist, and now with technology I can also get the information and I give it to them as they work. So I don't have maybe someone with a PhD, with a master's, they are at tertiary, some may be finished ordinary level, but you see they have the skill and they are willing to learn, indicating that they can be able to output according to what you want to achieve.
One of those characteristics would be willing to learn. What other characteristics would you be looking for when you hire?
When I'm hiring, also I look at the communication skill. Also, because sometimes I'm not there. Like now, I'm not at the premises, but operations must continue. So I look at the communication, and if the person, he or she is not competent at that, we try to sit down with the person, we explain to him that this is what we want, and for you to be able to be excellent at the place of work, you need to be like this. So the person, if he or she really loves what he or she is going to undertake, they learn. And then also another skill that I look at is the marketing skill, because however much you have a gold product, it is wonderful, it is very fantastic, but you don't have marketing skills. I may be a good motivator, but I'm not good at marketing. I'm not good at talking and communication. So when that person is entering in, I also look at that marketing aspect. And then with trainings that I've been able to attend, also some staff, what they've been able to attend. So we also initiate the person into the system. And then some other features I look at is also the trustworthiness, because it is an important tool and you cannot buy it anywhere. So if you have such people, they are way to go. Then another thing that I look at is the dignity of the person. Of course, mainly if the person respects herself or himself, and also you value him as you're the manager, but you can't do everything. We need them. So some of the specific features that we need for the company to grow, we have to teach them since they are willing to learn. But sometimes you also get challenges when they get into the system. Sometimes a person changes because you have people who don't wish you well. The person came when she was a star, but every day as you now go to your marking table, if you're not very strict, or if you're also not strict, a person will gradually change. So that is the future of human resource. It is also a challenge to maintain them, to see that they have to stay for 3 years, but sometimes it is very uncertain.
Education. Can you just give us some education that since you've started the business that you've done, that it's helped you, or that's helped your team?
I have a degree in Bachelor of Library and Information Science. So the information, I'm good at identifying opportunities through information. So I get the information, I utilize it, and I apply it in the company. The information skill that I have, and we rely on information for our initiatives, for our organizations to be able to grow. So that has helped me, because I need information in the company. And then also trainings that I've been able to access through a network.
So can you give us just a list of those so that the listener actually knows some of those? Like I know you were talking about some government education too, that that has helped with production and things along those lines.
So I belong to Uganda Women Entrepreneurs Association Limited, which is an association that unites all the women entrepreneurs in the country. Whenever they send me information and I know that it is authentic, it is relevant to me, I go ahead and utilize it. Then I also belong to TechnoServe Uganda. It is a Dutch organization. It also train women, so they offer women to women business development skills, so I've been benefiting from them. I also represent some other Dutch organization called World of 30, which also inspires women through story sharing our ideas, our challenges as women across the globe, because there is a woman, remember, who is having the passion to do something, but she cannot be able to do it because she's in the gate, and the husband cannot allow her to get out of the gate. So, but she may be having the opportunity to watch the news on TV. So I believe that when I share my story, or you share your story, and the woman is stuck in the house or she's watching CNN. One time, maybe she will land on Suzanne featuring something. Maybe she can I can call her and I say, you go on your computer at home for your husband and search about wisdom television, and you will get the inspiration. I also belong to Uganda Research Institute, which is a leading research institution that is ensuring that we industrialize the economy. And basically that's where I started my project. I'm under the incubation program, and there are so many opportunities that have come my way because I belong to them, and they believe that I can be able to be a show window to women to create their income and to be able to offer an alternative to packaging using eco-friendly product in the region.
That's great advice, and thanks for sharing that, because those are organizations that women should be looking into and participating to expand that network that you were talking about earlier. Now, what has been the most significant impact you feel you've made in your career? I mean, you are only 26, but to date, what do you think the most significant impact has been?
Self-employment and empowering other people through what I know.
Lucia, if you could attribute your success to one thing, what would that one thing be?
Commitment and hard work.
What does hard work actually mean to you?
Because you don't find a loss when you work hard, depending on your vision.
Mm-hmm.
So hard work will enable you to be able to achieve your vision and also to be able to economically empower someone.
When I think hard work, I think persistence. Just don't give up. When you think hard work, what do you think of?
To me, it is commitment, and then patience, diligence that I've invested in, and also trustworthy.
Something that you have to do and deal with on an ongoing basis, and it makes you feel uncomfortable, but you have to deal with it.
Bureaucrats.
You had mentioned bureaucrats being that. Can you expand on that for us?
Yes, though I have been challenged by bureaucrats, especially in accessing finance, also accessing, that is both loan and grant and other financial benefits, but still I need them because as I'm a practitioner in the private sector, I'm in philanthropy, still I need them, though they make me uncomfortable, but I need them. But it is now me how I'm going to be an agent of transformation, that I can be able to turn those uncomfortable moments into positive realities.
What is it specifically dealing with bureaucrats? You mentioned earlier in the interview.
Delays. Because you find I want something urgently, but someone will take a week because his or her perception about the matter is different from how I want it.
So tell us, what would be the most significant decision you've made in your career?
Economically empower and also create employment opportunities, and also to stand and make a difference as a woman. It is one of the decisions that I've taken, and not to look for public employment.
As a leader, what do you find are the three most powerful pieces of advice you can give to someone trying to lead a project, a team, or initiative, or start a business for that matter?
To be an example, because when you're exemplary, the results will be realistic. And then another advice is commitment. We often make promises, but we are not committed to them. And also another advice, as a woman, we offer a lot, and we need to earn a lot. It is now not going to be women giving out and we don't benefit. So we need to benefit from our initiatives as long as we live, and that's when we shall be able to be leading agents of transformation, and women across the world will be proud about themselves.
All excellent pieces of leadership lessons and advice. One I do want to emphasize is the commitment.
Commitment?
This is a word we often use and don't commit to executing. And it's something I've really noticed in business. People often say they're going to do things, but they don't follow through on them. And eventually that will be somebody's demise in business. So I'm really glad you mentioned that, because it's an excellent point. If there was one thing you would do differently in pursuit of your success, what would it be?
Women, as the greatest givers of humanity, we must embrace entrepreneurship if we are to economically empower ourselves.
Would there be something that you would do differently than to get to the success that you've already had? Or
I would have taken entrepreneurship at bachelor's level if I had the money. Because I went in for the degree I pursued because it was on a government sponsorship, but it was not relevant to what I wanted. But the fact that it was free, I had to go for that. But if I would go back, I would take entrepreneurship, because all the economies, I believe, across the world, they are being run because of entrepreneurship.
cheers to entrepreneurs. Being one, I can appreciate.
Yes.
Excellent. So what's next for you?
I'm now focusing on how to also be a transformer in other people's lives. As I make money, I need to see also other people develop. Because money is not an end in itself. Also, money is sweet. If I have a family, if I see someone's life change, and I see my economy benefiting. So mainly now my next actions is to see that the business develop, also to spread to other countries, and also to personally also develop with my family, because I need love to do all that I'm doing, and I need to be stable in my family because I need love, and also to be able to change other people's lives in skills development for community change.
Something I didn't ask you, and I do want to go back because I think it's a really, really important. Your business is for profit, right?
Yes.
Okay. This is really important, that it is for profit. You still can do really good work and affect people's lives and still make money. And often companies are non-for-profit, and they don't need to be. Given the chance, what would you love to do that you haven't done yet? And this is a world is your oyster. This doesn't have to just be about business. It can be, but what would you love to do that you've never done yet?
Is to move around the world, to visit women groups, and also not only women groups, but to visit to see how other women across the world, how they are doing their activities concerning women empowerment. And I would also want to move and also inspire and motivate another woman in another country to see how they also embrace change, and also to see how they perceive leadership, how they perceive motivation and inspiration of other women, and also to see how they relate culture and change. Because though we want economic development, though we need transformation, but we need our families, and our families relate much with culture. So I would want to know how other economies, how other women transformers are carrying out their missions. And by knowing that, that's how I will be able to make my decision on how to make also a stronger network across the world to see that in our generation we can impact a woman.
Well, I'm hoping Wisdom Exchange TV will allow you to connect to a lot of those women.
I will.
You know, and a great opportunity when people comment on the site that you can actually create that conversation.
Yes,
So,
I
which
will.
is definitely a good way. So let's just say your daughter is 10 years old today.
Yes.
Okay, so she's wanting information. What words of wisdom would you give to her?
I would encourage her to develop her individual talent. I would sit with her and see what she does best. and I would encourage her on what she feels she wants to be in the future. Not me dictating all sorts of things into her mind, but I would advise her according to her individual talent.
What words of wisdom do you wish somebody told you?
To encourage me, and also to participate in what I do, and also to learn from her.
The question is, what words of wisdom would you like to impart to African women?
Work very hard to network, because individual women, we can't do it ourselves. I would advise networking, commitment, hard work, and also having the patience, because we need patience and we need trustworthiness, and it is a rare asset and it cannot be bought anywhere.
Well, true inspiration, and I don't think there would be any doubt why a 26-year-old has just achieved an award from the International Association, recognizing her for achievements at such a young age. I'm going to be watching this lady because I know she's going places, and there's going to be a lot of good things are going to be coming from you over the years, there's no doubt. Again, my name is Suzanne F. Stevens, and I co-produce Wisdom Exchange TV with my husband, Michael K. Ginrich. We're traveling through Africa, and right now, as I said, we're in Uganda. We're on our way to Rwanda and Ethiopia, interviewing women just like Lucia, who've really differentiated themselves, who have been trailblazers in what they do. If you know a woman who's a trailblazer, a leading lady who leads many or is a pioneer, please email us at info@wisdomexchangetv.com, and we'll research this woman and see if she qualifies to be interviewed. And we will come to them, so please don't hesitate. Also, if you work for an organization or lead an organization that wants to tap into top businesswomen throughout Africa, you should consider sponsoring Africa Businesswomen Connected Summit taking place in Ethiopia in 2013. If you go on the site, under About, you'll have ABW Connected, and there's a sponsorship package as well as information on the initiative. Lastly, subscribe to Wisdom Exchange TV. We put up a new interview every 2 weeks. You don't want to miss one of these interviews, so do subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and you also will get special promotions coming to you on occasion with opportunities to really advance yourself and further educate. I am Suzanne F. Stevens, and I would like to leave you with my words of wisdom. Being young is not an excuse, but it's an opportunity, and we really saw that here today. Thanks for joining us.